everyone, my name's Marjorie Menor. Can you believe it? We're finally on our last video of building a successful event with some of the marketing tips and tricks that I've done in the past. In my last video, I focused on some strategies for during the event, and I also released a blog that talked further about being successful on site. So for this video, I'm going to focus on your follow-up strategies. It's just as important as running the event itself, and you can't forget that the campaign doesn't end, not until after you have your follow-up strategy. Now, when it comes to building your follow-up strategy, do you remember when I talked about making sure you captured who attended your event, who no-showed, and also you need to pay attention to the target audience that didn't register at all? Why? Our follow-up strategy is going to be based on those three audiences. Now, when I look at these three different audiences, the way that I approach the follow-up strategy is I look at three things. One, the channels that I will use to reach out and follow up on these audiences. Two, the tailored messaging per group. Three, the CTA for each of those audiences. And basically, it's the goal that you wish to achieve out of reaching these three different groups. So let's start with your channels. You need to find out where your audiences tend to hang out. Where do they linger on the digital space? On websites, what social platforms, and then what forms of communication they use. Do they prefer emails? Do they prefer direct mails? Do they like calls? And you can use tools to help find those spaces. You can use data analytical tools, GA for behaviors, as well as intent tools that give you keywords that they use. So a little tip on how I decide what channels my audiences are spending time and what channels I'll use the funnel stages. And first I'll categorize my audience by funnel stage. Those three audiences I mentioned have your didn't register, but they were your target audience right at the top. Your MOFU is your middle funnel. We like to categorize no-shows. So they registered, they showed intent to attend, but they didn't for whatever reason that may be. And then BOFU, your bottom of the funnel. And these are for the marketers out there. These are the terminologies we use in marketing, so I apologize for those who are new to these terms. We have BOFU, those who attended, because they attended, and who knows, they might be ready for the next step. When it comes to categorizing channels, at Tofu, I like to focus more on the digital ads. They're not as aggressive, but they're placed in specific places like display ads on a website that your audience tends to visit, or maybe social ads because they tend to spend a lot of time on, let's say, LinkedIn. And it's just a way to kind of show your brand to this audience once again and get them thinking about what you had talked about at the event, whatever you presented. For our MOFU stage, you want to start talking about emails, potentially sending a mailer, a flyer in the mail, just to remind them that, hey, you signed up for this event, but didn't attend. And when it comes to BOFU, this is where you can start incorporating calls. Emails are still a part of that. It kind of comes in between the middle and bottom of funnel, but calls is where it matters for BOFU. Again, that's where your intended audience will sit, and you have every reason to give them a call because we engaged with them at the event. They attended, they had a good time, we got to meet in person. No other reason but to give them a call and say, hey, let's have a chat. When it comes to messaging, and that's our second point, when we need to figure out our follow-up strategy. Now for messaging, what I like to focus on is tailoring and personalizing your message. And you could do that in many ways. You can either focus on three types of audience that we've listed: your attended, no-shows, and then your target audience who didn't register at all. For your attended, you can tailor the messaging as a thank you for attending. Your no-shows, we missed you. And then for those who registered, you missed out on an amazing event. Check out our next one. Another way to tailor your messaging is by focusing on maybe industries, regions, languages, and so much more. Well, that's it. We ran out of time, and I know I have a third part to talk about, which is your CTA as part of your follow-up strategy. And basically what that is based on the funnel stage, you're going to determine what's your call to action for the audience. What is the goal that you're trying to get out of them when you follow up? I'll talk about it further in my blog. Myself and tech execs who champion this video would like to thank everybody for your support, and I am so happy to have shared my knowledge with you when it comes to building a successful event. I can't wait to share more because I'm going to start going into some digital strategies, some things I learned in my role prior to my role at Okta. They gave me a lot of freedom to play around digitally, so let's take a look at that. If you have yet to explore tech execs and you're looking to build your next event, please reach out to me or reach out to Tony, tagged above in the description. Until next time. Bye, everybody.